Hi there, Izzy from digitalgoja.com showroom, and today we're going to have another lesson in Photography 101. We're going to take a look at ISO. That stands for International Standards Organization. This is the way that they measure the amount of light when we go to expose our images. Now, all cameras have an ISO setting. Most of the time you have one button that allows you to activate it. On this Rebel it happens to be on top, but you got to take a look at your nomenclature on your camera to find where your ISO button is, or if you have it inside the menu feature. So I'm going to hit the ISO button and then that activates the screen. In the command dial here I can set the particular ISO that I choose to. Now the way you got to take into consideration, the smaller the ISO, the less sensitive it is to light. So usually ISO 100 is used for bright situations where you have existing light sources like the sun or a strobe or LED lights like I use here in the studio. And then you keep moving to a higher ISO depending on the lower light situations. Plus, remember, your ISO coordinates your shutter speed and your f-stop. So if you're in a situation where you want to work with faster shutter speeds, like for example when you set your camera to the sports mode or night shooting photography, your camera automatically starts bumping up the ISO if you have it set to, and this seems to be a very popular setting that we use nowadays, is the auto ISO. But I myself prefer to set the ISO that I choose because this way I can guarantee that I don't have issues with noise. Remember, the other end of the spectrum is the higher this ISO goes, and some of the cameras are all the way up to past 1600 and 3200, 6400. There's some cameras on the market right now that shoot 12,800 ISO. You have to be careful with those because the higher that ISO goes, the more issues you're going to have with noise. And then of course you can fix it in Lightroom and Photoshop, but if you want to do it correctly on your initial shooting, try to work with the lower ISOs possible and see how your images come out that way. Little by little you can step up the ISO, but do it in small increments. Don't immediately jump to your highest ISO setting, especially with the crop sensor cameras. They don't really like the high ISOs. The full frame cameras that are out there, some of them can shoot at 12,800 ISO and you can get away with it. So remember, set the ISO accordingly and stick to it until you get comfortable with the different settings. If you like this video, remember to click the like button underneath and subscribe to our channel for further segments on Photography 101. Happy shooting!